Yeah.
We're back.
Twos, guys. Back in the stewed. It is Tuesday, January 15th. And Baller?
Yes, Joseph.
Twos guys are back. It has been a decent amount of time since we have last potted. A lot has happened. We're going to do some of our typical segments. We're going to do time travel with the Twos guys. Didn't you? You had one. You had
did
one.
the-
Pew, pew, pew.
You
You know what?
That's not time travel.
Wasn't it pew pew pew? Top twos. Today's is favorite smart suggestions, our new feature that we're going to be talking about. And most importantly, we just want to share everything that's going on behind the scenes. We want to build in public. We want to hear about the things that y'all are writing down. We want to tell you about the things that we're writing down. And I'm actually going to go ahead and kick that off. Baller?
Yes.
Do you know what today is?
January 15th.
January 15th, aka my mom's soberversary. 1 year since a drip of alcohol has touched the lips of my mother.
Very impressive.
It's a very exciting feat. It's very impressive. We're super proud of her. And the reason I'm sharing that thing is because not only was I able to set a yearly repeating reminder so that every year I'm able to remember when my mom's soberversary is, but also Smart Suggestions helps me order her flowers.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to order my mom flowers for her soberversary. Baller, have you written a thing down?
I've certainly written things down. The thing that I brought was hopeful thought experiment for yourself when you are feeling uncomfortable, and it is HALT, which is both like a
Command.
pause
Yep.
and, check in on yourself, but it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So you're most likely one of those things.
Am I any of these things when I'm not feeling good?
You can ask yourself that, and then you can figure out, now, how do I fix that?
If I can bring myself out of a particular mood by just understanding what's going on and then trying to fix that thing, that is really just the benefit of writing things down. Like,
Awareness is the first step.
let's talk about our weekend twos. So this is pretty much everything that has happened since we potted last. Baller, you have the floor.
Do you have the last pod date?
No.
I think it was with Francesco. Actually, at the time, we were working on PALS, which, for those that don't know, personal active lists, personal to you, active, help you get things done, lists, what Twos does best. We were working on PALS in
Stealth.
while we were working on the second announcement, which was we have a provisional patent on the underlying technology.
Baller, will you please explain to the people what a personal active list is, why they should care, and how to use them?
It is lists that do things for you is the thing that we've done, but it's essentially writing things down and then helping you take the next step, which might be looking it up, it might be getting directions, it might be turning something into a to-do, it might be a purchase. There are many use cases. How to use them is just writing things down. It's whatever you would normally write down. It happens a lot in normal meetings and conversations where I'll be writing something down that someone says, and I'll just receive a feature of PALS, which is smart suggestions, in order to take a step.
Our vision has been and always will be, and that's just the journey of being entrepreneurs, is like determining what we want to give to the world. And for us, that's always been building the best place to write things down. Mm-hmm. And so we noticed a gap in the marketplace that notes apps aren't particularly connected to the internet. They don't communicate with one another, and people value efficiency. So smart suggestions, the whole idea is that we just help you get to the next step. So instead of having to copy all of the things that you want to buy from your Amazon list into Amazon, we just provide diamonds to the right of the things that you write down and then give you the ability to go straight to Amazon for that product listing. Get ready, Twos community, because we need your help. The Twos guys are going back to our roots, and we will be launching on Product Hunt with these new PALS features before you know it. Another main goal of this app, of this podcast, of our journey is to really be evangelists for the benefits of writing things down, because it's something that both of our mentors put us onto as it relates to the beginning of this journey. You started building Twos based on a recommendation to write more things down. Initially, when you hear that, you're like, I already do that. I already do it in these places. What are you trying to suggest could be improved or different? And it's really this idea that the effort that it takes to write something down compared to the potential impact is something that I think is relatively underrepresented. It is very easy, at least with twos by your side now, to write things down in a quick and organized way. And what it can potentially do for your livelihood is so impactful. If you could, speak to a young Parker, here's how I want you to change your relationship with writing things down. Why, how, and what could it possibly do?
Well, I think that's part of it is it's very hard to measure. It's hard to measure the actual impact because it can affect you in so many different ways. But I would just say do your best to form the habit. Do your best to do it. And there's no one way of doing it. Like it could just be writing down a list of the goals that you have for the year or writing down a list of the goals for the next 5 years. It could be when you're on a walk and you have a random thought, just capturing that one thought because you never know when that will come back around. Similar to like this HALT thing. Writing things down in general, I've obviously been taking journaling much more seriously after reading this book called The Artist's Way, which is all about doing this thing called morning pages, which is 3 pages stream of consciousness. While I might not revisit those journals all the time, I have had major life experience changes based on the things that I've thought a lot about, processed, and writing helps me process. I was talking to someone recently where talking is the way that they process and actually talking to themselves. They made it clear that they don't do it in public. They do it in private so that people don't think that they're crazy. But it's the way that they are able to make sense of the chaotic thoughts is when they speak them, it's much more clear. I do that through writing.
Here's something that you just made me recognize is that despite my interest and joy in talking, writing is the only way that I've ever been able to remember. I can say 100 things. One concrete example and why I just think twos is such a powerful tool. I recently shaved my beard. I used a particular guard because there's guards on trimmers and a guard is like what prevents a particular length from being cut off. In order to have like a truly scruffy beard, I cannot use any guard that I currently have accessible to me. This is something that is important to me. In the future, if I want my beard to look a particular way, then I need to change my actions. That's something I wrote down. It's a small example of a thing that I was able to write down. And as compared to an Apple Note, because, or a piece of paper even, where would that thing go? How would I feel that that thing is being taken care of? Twos is uniquely advantageous in that particular capacity by giving you a daily list. And so we want to help, inspire other people to just kind of experience the benefits. There is no such thing as a bad thing being written.
Yeah, I've never regretted writing something down.
Think about the amount of times that you can regret saying something. Like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
We've always made twos around that concept. Like we try to make it as quick and easy to write things down so that people will write more things down.
Exactly.
As opposed to any of these other tools that make it harder or more time consuming in order to do so. That is our goal. Make it as simple and easy to write things as possible so that you do write more things down and benefit from those things.
And smart suggestions just to tie it all back together in PALS. If we can inspire people to write more things down, the amount of times that I've seen people get a recommendation and actively choose to not write it down is amazing to me. What if what I'm saying right now is a restaurant that will change your life? Like you go to it and you meet the love of your life. Like let's use that as an example. And I'm not even joshing you. What if by you writing down the recommendation that your friend told you on any given day, you remembering that and then acting upon that piece of information, especially when it comes to smart suggestions, you just hit those diamonds, you get the Google Maps locations, you realize that you're 3 minutes away walking. Why not? I'm going to go to that restaurant and you meet the love of your life. Who says no? Now, in a little bit more of a fun capacity, we have a very unique and special feature within Twos that I think brings up fun and unique things that we've written down. And it's called Time Travel with the Twos Guys. Baller, can I get the time travel sound? All you have to do in order to time travel within Twos is to open the search bar and actually write down the words time travel and then enter. It will bring up a random list. A random day within Twos.
Which is a list.
Of my history. Can I tell you the day that I've time traveled to?
Of course.
September 22nd, 2022.
Wow. Where were we? What were we doing?
I'll tell you what we were doing. Eating chips was one thing that we were doing. There's a couple of things that I want to read from this that I think are very funny. At 11:23 a.m., life is busy. We have a lot of things going on every day.
True.
Writing those things down is one of the easiest ways to take hold of those things. Another thing that I wrote down, elevator pitch is trash. Classic Twos Joe.
Could have written that down yesterday.
Elevator pitch is trash. It is my friend Kate's birthday on that day, which is
Exciting.
another unique advantage of Twos. Twos has reminders baked into its all-in-one place to write things down. So Kate, happy birthday on September 22nd. And the last thing that I want to read is a joke because it is tagged jokes. While I was eating baked chips, Parker came in the house and said, "Getting baked?" To which I was. I was getting baked
Classic.
by eating baked chips.
Classic.
So that is how we time travel within Twos, and hopefully one of those stories inspires you to write things down.
Bam, 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 bam.
Thank you, Baller. Now, we're going to kick it over to our segment, Top Twos.
Favorite segment?
Top Twos is when we rank our top 2 things of a particular category. We do it in a snake draft style, and today's Top Twos is our favorite smart suggestions. Parker was speaking on the fact that we have around 30 of them. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Undefeated.
That's not true at all.
My number 1 is going to be 4 books or 4 authors. The Amazon Goodreads. I did it today. Someone had recommended an author to me. I wrote down the author's name, got picked up, looked on Goodreads, saw that they had a bunch of books. So I was able to say, okay, let's highlight on this. What was your favorite book by this author?
That's really cool. You wrote down an author. Broad.
Just the name, too. I didn't
love
even
it.
have to write like author or whatever. I just wrote the name down. Shout out to Cole Fitter. That's who it came from. Author's name was Rick Hansen. The book that he recommended was called Resilient: How to Grow an Unshakable Core of Calm, Strength, and Happiness.
My number 1, it's got to be Google Maps. Whenever I write down friends' addresses and I'm just able to quickly get to those places, or if I write down a place, Potbelly, which is a sandwich place in the United States, is doing a buy one, get one free offer. When I wrote down Potbelly BOGO, so I can remember that thing, I get a Google Maps for all of the Potbellies near me. My number 2's probably has to be the one that I just think is coolest. Instead of handing your phone to someone to put their phone number in and calling that number, now when you put a name, phone number, and even an email address into your day or any list in Twos, you can create a contact.
That is
so
beautiful.
creating contacts by just writing down the relevant information is my number 2's.
And shout out AI. AI helped me write that code. My number 2's music, song, album, or artist.
You picked the 2 smart suggestions that have like the broadest reach.
I use a lot of them. I love the maps one. I am a big fan of writing down an artist's name and then finding that artist. And I like that we provide so many different platforms so that you can use the platform that you use.
Baller, that is the end of our 2-stock. Writing things down is such a amazing habit to acquire. And so that's really going to be a lot of what we talk about. The things that we're doing to Twos in order to make it a more attractive place to write things down, the things that we're writing down in Twos that are making our lives better, and just other entertaining tidbits so that if you're interested in watching the podcast, that hopefully you get a slight smile out of it occasionally.
As always, if you have any questions, leave them below. We'll either answer them in the comments or on the next pod.
Their favorite smart suggestions.
Yeah, top 2 smart suggestions. Or just say hello. Just say drop a hi.
Drop a hi. Drop a peace sign.
We'll say hi.
Until next time, Twos out.
We love you.
Great pod.
I love you.